NTA Kaduna, your star station.
Good day, viewers. You're welcome to another interesting package within the 13 episodes of our programs on hate speech. You remember we have had other topics earlier, like hate speech and religion, hate speech and gender and child rights. And today, it promised to be a very interesting one. That we're going to look at the context and the components of the law of this country that address hate speech, because it is said most oftenly that Nigerians, it is within the Nigerian context, it is not the law that are lacking, but how well are these laws obeyed and how well are they enforced. We want to know if the Nigerian law has many things in stock against hate speech and those who are perpetrating hate speech. I have my co-anchor, Reverend Father Stephen Ojapa.
Imam Jamil, good to see you.
I am Muhammad Jamil Muhammad, your lead presenter, the co-chairman of the Central Coordination Council of Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace. IDFP, that organization that was founded solely to promote peace and peaceful coexistence among adherents of different religions in Nigeria. You're welcome.
Thank you. And I'm Father Stephen Ojapa, MSP, IDFP member and a priest of the Catholic Diocese of Sokoto. With me are very interesting and eminent and minor and major presenters. From my left, I have Barrister Magajuma Ibrahim. He is a Kano-based legal practitioner and an advocate of social justice. Barrister, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Father.
By my far right is Barrister Mariam Dan Abdul. She is a private legal practitioner in Kaduna and a married woman and everything. Barrister, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Would like to go straight away from my left, right.
Yeah, I'll pick it from your left and not your right.
Okay, from my left.
And I want to just ask Barrister Mato, please can you come out? We want to ask, there's something that happened when the IPOB leader was being tried in court on issue of hate speech, treason and the rest. Some of this, an eminent Nigerian came out to say that the problem is that we do not have enough laws that govern or that guides or that would enable courts to prosecute those who propagate hate speech. Please, Barrister, in your own understanding of the law, what is the position of Nigerian law vis-a-vis hate speech, its propagation, or its how it is supposed to be curbed, and what should be done when it resorts to litigation?
Well, interestingly, good day viewers, issue of law, I think it has been taken care of. Because honestly, when you're talking about the law, you talk about the ground norm, which is the Constitution. The issue you just cited is adequately taken care of, because there is the issue of treason, and this is a constitutional issue. So the laws are there. And when you come to the issue of hate speech, you have to look at it also vis-a-vis the content of Chapter 4 of the Constitution, which contains and gives the freedom to expression, freedom to press. But then you look at where the concept of hate speech will come in is on the limitation of that same chapter, which is Section 45. Inasmuch as you have the right to say anything, to express your views, to go to the press, to practice your faith, to belong to a political party, that freedom that you have is not considered as absolute. It has some limitations, and that has been adequately taken care of by Section 45 of the Constitution. So in that context, you will look at it that the law is placed, which is even the ground law that will take care of issue of hate speech, because your right to speak or your right to express your view has the limitation that it should not exceed to that limit.
How does the law explain hate speech? How do you people define hate speech legally?
Contextually, under the law, you look at hate speech as that utterance or action, or sometimes even inaction, that has the tendency of tarnishing, derogating, affecting, discomforting, irritating the person of another, his tribe, religion, or his political inclinations. Whatever you will say or you will do that has the tendency of creating problem or chaos or discomforting of another person, even though it's in the act, it is in an attempt to express your view, it becomes a hate speech because it affects the rights of another person to his own existence.
All right, Barrister Mariam, hate speech, are there laws? Are these laws enforceable, and are these laws justiciable?
Yes, like my colleague has rightly said, the whole issue is envisaged in the Constitution. Chapter 4, precisely Section 39, which talks about freedom of expression. But this freedom of expression has its own limitations, like he has said in Section 45. There are instances where if you make these speeches, or rather if you make certain utterances with regards to race, religion, ethnicity, it could even be a mere verbal, like let's say verbal discussion, just like we're discussing here. You could make a speech on another person and he might regard it as hate speech. So with all this, the Section 39 gives you the right of that freedom. But at the same time, Section 45 now takes away some of this freedom from you in the event that these utterances you make will cause another person to feel insult, annoyance, or even the right of his person being injured by your statements.
Sorry, as a barrister practicing for some time now,
yes,
I don't know whether anybody has been able to get justice from the court because maybe you called me Inamiri, or you called me Kafiri, or you called me Kwaro, or you called me Malam, or you called me Malu, or has anybody been able to get justice because he brought this kind of issue to the court and then it was followed through and it was, has anybody?
Yes, I would say yes and I would say no at the same time. Because when you're talking about the court, this
or a legal system.
Yes. The court is a place where if you institute an action, there are certain things you are to produce before the court in form of evidence which will prove that allegation which you are accusing.
Now, I come to the court. I know that Imam Jamil insulted me.
Yes.
I felt it and I cried. And I come to complain in the court.
Yes.
Now you're going to treat the matter that I have
No,
to bring evidence.
that's where I'm taking you. You have to provide evidence.
Hey.
This evidence could be in form of another person who witnessed it happen.
Okay.
It could be because it cuts across, like he said, when you asked him to define, he said it could include publishing, it could include you just uttering it, it could include hearing it, it could include it being broadcasted. There are so many forms it could take. So in the event that someone feels someone has said something which is touching his person, and then you run to court, these are the things you will present to the court. If it was written in a newspaper or in an article, you could provide it to the court. If it was aired or it was in the radio or in the television,
okay,
you can get that recording and present to the court. If it was in the presence of another individual, you can get the person to court to testify on your own behalf that yes, actually, I was present.
In other words, justice is possible for somebody who has been violated verbally.
Exactly.
Now, in Nigeria, we have a lot of preachers who preach violence.
Yeah.
The people hear them. How come they are still moving freely?
Well, the problem we have is we don't actually have any law as at now that gives or prescribes